This setup is incredible. There's nothing in the broadcasting field right now that comes close to this. Hey everybody, I'm Ryan O'Connor, a broadcaster in South Africa who's been using Rode for a couple of years. Importantly, the past couple of months, been using the Rodecaster Pro. Most people in this day and age want to be podcasters. So what does it take to be a good podcaster? Well, of course, it takes having an idea of a subject you want to talk about for a lengthy period of time, number one. But number two, and this is very vital, doesn't matter how good your subject is, people want to hear it in the best possible definition. They want to be able to hear you crisply. They want to be able to pick up exactly the warmth, depth of your voice, the richness of that amazing voice that you have. When it comes to bringing this all alive, Rode do it the best. They really do. The setup from Rode, when it comes to the Rodecaster Pro, is everything you'll need for a basic podcast setup and more. When I say and more, it's the and more that normally catches you out when you skimp on setting up a podcast system. You want to have a couple of microphones, you want to run them in via an input, run them into a system, and then have that go out into various platforms. However, it can become addictive, and when it does, you start to realize that to get the perfect sound, well, you need the perfect equipment, and that can end up costing you a hell of a lot of money, especially when you've already spent so much money in that initial basic setup. Rode understand this. Not only do they understand this, but they've got the perfect solution for you. They've been able to find all the ingredients that you need right now that you won't have to necessarily in the future have to build onto, because right there at the very beginning, you've got everything and more. And again, I keep saying the and more, but really, and it feels a little bit like an infomercial, but it really is. It is and more, because when it comes to adding all the other elements to a podcast outside of the vocals, whether it's audio clips, whether it's maybe having somebody join you in that podcast from overseas, from a different venue, via telephone, via an IP or VoIP, the good news is that this handles it all with an additional, something that you might not have thought of, a backup memory internal storage card facility where you can pop an SD card in and record whatever you're doing directly to memory card. So the nice thing about Rode is that the ecosystem really does all talk to one another. Whatever mic system you're using can be plugged into the Rodecaster Pro and be used depending on what your needs are, whether it's for podcasting or broadcasting from home like I'm doing at the moment. Like I said, it is action-packed, this Rodecaster Pro. It comes with all the bells and whistles and the sound effects to the bells and whistles too. The interface is amazing. It syncs with whatever device you have, and you're able to modify the hotkeys. You're able to kind of have the system set up to how you want a system to run. And that's very important. As anyone doing a podcast or anyone doing a broadcast or a live show, you need stuff right now. When you're talking about something, you want to be able to play back that audio. You want to be able to play that audio to your live audience, or right now you want to mix that into the podcast that you're currently doing. Often in post, you have to sit and you kind of have to tag, you've got to mark, you've got to add that in maybe at a later stage. Not with the Rodecaster Pro. It's good to go from the word go. So you can pre-program, like I have various jingles into my bank of hotkeys. And when it comes to firing, for example, the news on my show, I can fire the news, I can fire whatever stings and whatever jingles from the hotkeys, from these banks of keys here that I have. I can assign various roles to these keys, whether I want them short played, long played, continuously looped in a play. And this is what Rode do. Rode have gone, listen, you tell us what you want and we'll give it to you. We'll make sure that the system can do it, and they've done that exact thing with the Rodecaster Pro. I can only say good things. If somebody said to me, well, be honest, Ryan, if Rode weren't paying you a gazillion rand to tell you this, and by the way, they're not paying me a cent, I really have been a fan of the product since day one. In actual fact, my whole ecosystem, whether I'm shooting for and broadcasting for home or shooting family videos of my kids growing up, it is all done through Rode equipment somewhere in the mix. They really are miles ahead of anybody else when it comes to audio technology and that technology that they're bringing across to the mass consumer market. The downsides are there aren't any for me and in my line of work. And like I said, I broadcast a daily show out Monday to Friday on a Cape Town radio station, and I use this setup you see right now to go out on air to almost 1 million people. Love it, love the sound, love the audio, love everything that you can do with a Rodecaster Pro. And the good news is when I'm off air, 2 or 3 clicks, I don't have to touch my setup, but 2 or 3 clicks get me into another program and I'm podcasting. That is as simple as it gets. and I love that. Simple, high quality, brilliant performance. It can only be one thing, a Rode product.